Welcome, everyone, to the Inspirational Business Women Show. Today, my special guest is Joanne Hernan, and we're going to be talking about how to grow your Instagram success. Now, we'll be getting started in just a moment. But first, I want to welcome all of you and say thank you so much for joining us today, because I know that your time is valuable. But I think you're going to find that the time you spend here with Joanne is going to be equally valuable, because you're going to learn a lot about how to grow your business successfully using the platform Instagram. So I'm looking forward to sharing this information with you today. Now, I know also that you might know of somebody else who would find this information valuable. As I play the preview trailer, if you would be so kind as to let other people know about this interview, just help spread the word while this is playing, and then we'll be getting started with the interview in just a moment. All right, I hope you're as excited as I am to learn about the details of really growing your business successfully on Instagram today. Now, before we get started, I'd like to share that today's show is sponsored by hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a complimentary live stream marketing assessment. Now, why might you want to take that assessment? Well, it will really reveal to you the key strategies that you need to shine online and grow your business presence using live stream video. So take a couple moments just to take this assessment, and you might even qualify for a complimentary Shine strategy session with me. So if you want to do that, go ahead and go to hangout-marketing.com, or you can text #success to 775-800-4179. All right, let's get you introduced to Joanne. I'm very excited to have her here with us today, because I really think that Instagram is something that we all need a little more exposure to. So let me go ahead and do the intro, and then I'll bring Joanne on. So, are you missing out on the additional social media exposure available with Instagram? Well, my special guest, Joanne, is the owner of Growth Ledge, and she will reveal how to grow your expert status using Instagram. Now, Joanne is an accomplished marketing and sales leader with over 20 years of experience, and with her strategic growth hacking strategies, Joanne has helped small, medium, and enterprise clients through social media and digital marketing. So today, Joanne is going to reveal, number one, the Instagram algorithm and how it works. Number two, how often to post on Instagram for best results. And number three, the easiest way to post with consistency. Now, Joanne's background is working in Silicon Valley startups, selling to Fortune 500 accounts. And then one day, on a whim in 2017, she decided to quit her corporate job and open Growth Ledge. And since then, she's been working with small to mid-sized companies in various industries, from wellness to nonprofits to personal care products and professional services, to name a few. We're so thrilled to have you here, Joanne. Come on in and say hi to our audience, won't you?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you, Virginia, for inviting me and having me speak to your audience.
Well, I love it. And I know that everyone here is going to hear numerous what I call gems from you today. And, you know, my experience has been that many people have Instagram accounts, but I'm not sure how many of them really know how to use them effectively to grow their business. And so that's what you're here to share with people. I'm super excited that they get an opportunity to do that with you today. Now, all of you viewing, you know what I love is your participation and letting us know when you hear a gem, right? Just put pound gem in the comment section and let us know what you heard that you think could make a difference in your business. And I call those your pack your bag moments, like just this one little tip I got from Joanne today could make a big difference for me. So you go ahead and do that. And Joanne is going to give you her best stuff on how to grow your business with Instagram. So thanks, Joanne, for being here. I always love to start the interview with a little bit of your background. We just read through some of it, but more importantly, I love to hear in your words, what might have been a defining moment for you when you knew you really had to change the course in your life to start doing what you're doing today with Growth Led. So can you give us a little background on that?
Yes. So my background, deep background, was actually in sales. So I went from, that boiler room calling all day long and worked my way up to working in Silicon Valley as a vice president of sales and marketing. And I was really, like I said, there was a lot of marketing I was doing and there was a lot of sales I was doing. And like you read in my intro, one day I just left. And within 2 weeks of leaving that Silicon Valley startup, I got a client within 2 weeks, and I thought, well, hey, I'm onto something.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, I found out that marketing is actually the number 2 stressful job in the world behind firefighters. So
really?
Yes. So I had left what felt very stressful in the sales world and have now moved into this marketing world, which is also very stressful. But that's why I've started creating courses for coaches and healers and small businesses and women in business, where I can teach people how they can maximize their own success on social media, on Instagram, but also be really authentic. Because let's face it, a lot of women business owners really feel like they want to connect with their customers and they really want to help. And that's really what Instagram does for people, is allow them to really connect and help people through that platform and that medium.
Well, that's fantastic. And also, it's a big shift to be working with, more corporate type of clients versus clients that are more solopreneurs in general. Now, it sounds like you've been working with a whole combination of those in your business since you got your new clients, but it is a little bit different. And I think that they'll appreciate hearing a little bit about that. And your strategies might be a little different for a solopreneur versus a larger company. Is that correct?
It is. I think that it really depends on the industry as well, but ultimately, authenticity in marketing is critical, whether you're a huge business or a small business. I think that small businesses and purpose-driven businesses get to have more leverage or more leeway to have that authenticity. And that, I think, really helps people feel very grounded in how they're going to market. It doesn't need to be cheesy. It doesn't need to be silly. It can really express who you are. And that gives people a lot of freedom, I feel like.
Yes, I would agree. It gives them freedom and it gives them an ease. They don't have to feel like they're performing to some sort of standard, which is not authentic. Instead, they're just able to be themselves. And so that will lead us into a little bit about the posting ideas that you have for people, because I think that people don't always know what to post. They just feel, I got to get something out there, and they don't know what to post. So I want you to interweave that with this discussion, because we're going to go into the Instagram algorithm, which I think is a mystery for most people, just like the Facebook algorithm is, and it seems to be changing all the time. Yes. So if you can sort of interweave ideas for what to post, with the algorithm, that would be really wonderful.
Yeah, and I wanted to make a point as well, before I lead into the algorithm, which is, and I hear this a lot from my clients who are solopreneurs and purpose-driven businesses. It's this: why would someone want to listen to me? What do I have to say that isn't already being said? Because there's all these other people that are successful on Instagram. What do I have that's going to be unique? And the thing about Instagram that I love, and this is going to lead into the algorithm as well, but we've got over 250 million people on Instagram, and it's still the largest growing network of all of them, even TikTok. And so there's a lot of opportunity there, and the uniqueness of who you are and the uniqueness of your experience is what's going to draw in the people that need to hear what you have to say. Now, in the 2023 Trends Report for Instagram, authentic content is the #1 on their list. So I'm not just saying this because it's something nice that someone might need to hear. It's really what Instagram is looking for. And the algorithm is really the concept of what the purpose of the algorithm is very simple. Instagram wants to keep people on their app. And the way that it's going to keep someone interested in the content that's being shown to them on the Instagram app is by showing them the things that they like. So if I look at a reel, which I do a lot, of a Chihuahua, I get a lot of Chihuahuas in my feed because I've stopped and read some information about, or watched looked at pictures of Chihuahuas. So that's the Instagram predicting what I'm going to want to look at. So that's simply put. So while the algorithm seems complex, it's really simple. But what it's doing is it's looking at the content and categorizing what you are doing on your posts to figure out who to show it to. And it looks at different criteria. It looks at things like, are you posting a reel, a picture, a carousel, stories? And that's one of the first criteria it is looking at, because certain people like to look more at pictures than stories, and certain people like to look at carousels than video reels. So that's the first criteria it's going to look at. It's going to look at the content that is written within the post and what keywords are within those posts. What are the actual, what's being written in the post? And that's why right now what's really popular are to do those mini blogs, which is a little bit longer posts, not like Twitter, but full blog. Because Instagram more information about what you're posting. The hashtags will also help. The hashtags need to be relevant to the post. And then it's looking at what your overall profile is about and whether or not that profile is similar to other people's profile that maybe that person has looked at that content. So if you are, let's say, an executive coach, and there are lots of other executive coaches out there that are posting content, if a user looks at those posts more often, there's a chance your post can be shown to that person. So that's how the algorithm, in most simple terms, really works. And what it's trying to do is show more people your content.
Well, and it's based on interest. That's my understanding.
It's based on their interests, yes.
And yet, if it's the type of post they're using also, so I can see that there's a lot of criteria going on here. And that's where I think people get confused. Well, what do I do? So if you're saying that they might do mini blogs, I'm assuming a mini blog would go along with an image of some sort?
Correct. Yes. But you can do a mini blog as part of a reel as well, or a
Oh,
carousel. Let me
okay.
talk a little bit more. Let me back up and talk a little bit more about the different posts too, which you bring
Okay.
up a great point. So there's the static post with an image.
Yeah.
That's very popular. Instagram says this year that it was focusing too much on video last year, and it's going to focus again on image posts.
Oh, really?
So that's an important part
Uh-huh.
of the Instagram formula, let's call it. There's the carousel. A carousel you may see where it's multiple pictures. It might lead you through 4 steps to a successful Instagram, right? Where we give different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very popular post as well. Instagram loves carousel posts. Reels are the videos, the little mini videos. They're usually that long video. They should be the vertical videos. That the reels were an answer to what and a way to compete with TikTok.
Yeah.
So I started doing those reels.
Is there a time frame on those reels? Is there a minimum or maximum time?
You know, the unfortunately, with our goldfish length attention spans, yes, we usually under 10 to 15 seconds, but you know, and then let me go to stories and let me talk about, is there
Okay.
a perfect length, because it's all going to tie in a moment. Then there's
Sure.
the stories, which are those little snippets up top that you can scroll through and see everybody's stories. And those can either be a video or some of those static posts that people can swipe through. Now, you asked, what's the right length of time? And people will say, well, what are the right amount of, which are the best types of posts I can do? And this ties back into the authentic content. What I find is that I suggest that people try to do everything, and I mean, just mix it up.
Yeah.
So you could do, sometimes I'll do a 10-second reel, sometimes I'll do a longer reel. You can try to do, the carousels, and you could do the static posts. But when you are when you mix it in, you may start to see a cadence, but then with the Instagram, there's those outliers that you don't expect are going to get the kind of reach or the kind of engagement that you end up getting. So it's always good then to fall back to that authenticity. What do you feel like posting today? What speaks to you? What are some of the questions you might have gotten from your clients? What are the problems that you're solving for your customers? What are you proud of that you want to share on Instagram? Because that content will be more important than figuring out what's going to be the exact mix or the right amount of time that's going to get you that magic engagement.
That's good advice, obviously, because it's good for you to learn how to mix it up and use the different types, styles that they offer, for one thing. And then people will, as you say, some people will more often look at reels, some will look at stories. And so different people will be able to see you then. So it gives you multiple exposure. So I like that idea. I'm a little curious, however, about how you mix in personal versus, maybe a story on Chihuahuas versus something that you want to use for marketing your business, or at least getting exposure for your business. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that is, you will see there are some people who their accounts almost seem like a personal account mixed in with business. And then you'll see some people who really just post about business, but still take an authentic approach to that. It is always good to add in some of that personal content. but it has to be what that particular content creator is comfortable with. You know, there are some things with people posting like their children. They may not want to post anything about their children, or they may want to post about their animals and mix that in with their business. You know, going on a trip and posting about that on your business account always does actually really great. Speaking to, you know, some of the failures that you may have experienced, or something that really struck you that your client may have talked to you about that day, are also really important posts. But again, I think finding that right mix of that personal to just business is also kind of a personal decision. I tend to lean towards really doing a lot of business posts, not a lot about my personal life, so to speak, but I try to take a personal approach to how I post about my business, or I integrate my sense of humor into that post, so that, you know, I'm not going to post like where I went to eat today or a picture of my family, but I see a lot of people doing that, and they're very successful with that as well.
Well, that's helpful. That's helpful, because I just know all of these platforms have, as you say, their unique algorithms or their unique way of showing you or having you show up in the so-called news feed. And I think it's important that people know that they can do this, have some fun with it, as you say, be authentic, get some personal mix in there along with their business. You know, the personal side of your business, people love that. They think they relate to that more than, of course, you can't spend your life, you know, basically saying, buy my stuff. You really want people to get excited about who you are, why you're passionate about what you do, and why you really feel like what you do can make a real difference in other people's lives. And those are the kind of things that I think inspire people. So I would say that those mini blog posts can be very beneficial there as well, because you can tell a story along with an experience and let people understand a little bit more about who you are and authentically how you relate to the marketplace.
Well, that's a great point too, because with other pieces of data that Instagram is looking at for with their algorithm is whether or not somebody saves your posts, shares your post, or goes and looks at your profile. So that means that someone's taking another step to looking at and is interested in your information. Now, I know a lot of people look at, well, I don't have a lot of followers. And people, so if you may have noticed that if you look at your someone's post, but you don't follow them, you may still get that person's content into your feed. And that's because the algorithm has noticed that you like that content creator, but you still haven't followed them. So when you're looking at your overall success, the algorithm may still be activating your post and using it and spreading it out to more people. And you may be getting that reach. They may be saving your post. They may be sharing your post and liking it. Your followers may not grow as fast as it might have in the past. And so don't rely on that data to know if you're successful or not at Instagram. So you do want to dig a little deeper into your dashboard and take a look at, are people liking, are people sharing this, are people saving my posts? And when you do those mini blogs, there's a higher chance they're going to save it, because it might be valuable information they want to come back to later.
Right. Good point. You know, I'm going to just interject here also that my daughter says she loves Instagram for the recipes. So she follows all these people who do paleo and that sort of thing. And she says, I just get the greatest recipes out of there. So I feel like they have an upper hand on getting more people to like and to download and to share, because people are always looking for, you know, new ideas. So I'm wondering how that idea of people wanting to share or download these could be incorporated into other forms of business. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Absolutely. So a lot of my clients are healers or coaches, doctors, integrative health, functional medicine doctors. They have a great opportunity because maybe they're a doctor that handles women's health, let's say menopause, hormones. And they've written out a post that it talks about maybe a certain supplement or a certain, tips that one can take to help improve how they feel or how they sleep at night. Maybe you want to post about, sleep hygiene, right? Because sleep is so hard as you're getting older, all that stuff. So putting those tips in there that somebody can come back to later on is an idea that you can use. If you're a coach, you might have tips that you want to use. If you are a hairdresser, if you're yoga, right. It's really about providing that information that's going to be valuable to your audience so they might be interested to coming back and looking at it again sometimes. And yes, recipes, I save recipes as well to come back to. You can have it does seem a lot easier for them to get those likes and shares sometimes. But I see other
come up with secret recipes for your business.
Well, one thing that's very hot tip, that's very popular right now on Instagram, is to pretend that you're doing a makeup tutorial and talk about some tips, because makeup tutorials get a lot of views. So you could probably do that also with a recipe. So a woman will be doing her makeup, but saying, the best way to get sleep at night is to shut your so it's a totally different subject, but they're doing a makeup tutorial. It's very hot right now on Instagram.
Okay, you guys, there's a little gem you might want to take home with you.
Yes.
Great. Combine a makeup tip.
Do a makeup.
Now, I'm not sure about the guys, if the guys will be able to do that, but the gals, yes, we can do that.
The guys can use trending audio files. That's another tip you can use, is to use the trending audio file, and that can get you a lot of reach as well.
Oh, wonderful. Now, how about the hashtags? I know I'm sort of going around here, and I know I want to get to how often to post and all that, but what about the use of hashtags? Is there some kind of formula or some way you can look up to see what are trending hashtags that you might be able to use in your own posting?
So I am old-fashioned about how I do my hashtag research. I just look it up in Instagram. I have Instagram on my phone. I also have it open on my desktop, and you can just go in the search bar. When you search for hashtag, it will show you how many posts are used for that hashtag. And you don't want to use hashtags that have 1 million posts, because you're going to be competing with the top creators and influencers on Instagram.
So that means it's too broad a hashtag.
It's not that it's too broad, it's too popular.
Okay, too popular. Okay.
Yeah.
So then your post may or may not be seen.
Correct. Okay. So I always tell people to stay within about 50,000 to maybe 500,000 as far as how many other posts are using that hashtag. It's important to use hashtags that are relevant to the post, though.
Sure.
You don't want to just do a post and then hashtag Kim Kardashian or something, because you're trying to. It needs to be relevant, and Instagram, if someone uses too many hashtags that aren't relevant, will start to kind of dock that account. So you do want to be careful about that.
Okay. Well, that's a good tip as well. All right. So let's move into the second area that we want to go into, and that is, how often should you post on Instagram?
I get this question a lot, and I think that people feel burdened by the amount of posts that it takes. Now, I usually recommend that people post 5 days a week. The tempo that I suggest is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Do a post that is a static post. So either static image or the carousel.
Uh-huh.
And then Tuesday, Thursday is a great day to do reels.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation for people, is to post 5 days a week. 7 days a week is better. But if there's a week and you don't post, or if there's a week you only do 2 instead of 5, it's not going to cause that much damage to your account. It's really if you go for a month without posting that you can start to lose ground on your traction. So the important thing about Instagram is the consistency. And the consistency week over week, month over month, year over year is what you will start to see that growth. And you'll start to also understand, and while I talked about just try different things and you don't know what's going to work, but with that consistency, you will start to see that there could be a pattern of certain types of posts that you are noticing getting more views, getting more likes, and then you want to focus on those types of posts.
Okay. So now you're doing it consistently, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, static, Tuesday and Thursday, reels and carousels, or reels, I guess you said. Carousels are static. All right. So now in the post, the content of the post, do you have calls to action? Do you have some way for people to take the next step with you if they start to follow you and like what you're talking about?
So a couple of things about Instagram. So what I love about Instagram is it's very easy to start to grow your audience on Instagram and connect with people. Go from 0 followers to a couple hundred followers in a few months. Now, the purpose of Instagram really is about building awareness. I know sometimes people will say, oh, I posted on Instagram, I didn't get any customers. It's about building awareness. Converting to customers is really another step, but people need to learn who you are and trust you before they're going to buy from you. And that's what Instagram gives you the opportunity. Now, when you're writing your posts, you want to think about a few things. You want to create posts that are going to educate, entertain, connect, or inspire. So those are you don't have to do all of those every time, but that's have that in the back of your mind. Is this going to be a funny post? Am I going to entertain here? Do I want to educate? Do I want to be personal and connect? And you can think about that as you're writing it and put that post together. And then you want to think about, what is the call to action? The call to action could be, save this post for later. Because again, that's going to be one more click that Instagram's like and share and save. Comment below what you stood out to you, or what, if you're giving some advice about something someone can do, comment below with a rose symbol if you agree, right? Like, you want to start getting people to do something. You can have a link in the bio, which is a way for people to say, hey, I'm doing a webinar. Here's the dates. Here's what I'm going to talk about. Link in the bio, where people then can go to your bio to link to it. What's important to realize, and I see people do this all the time, is just an interjection, is they'll put a link in the post and there's no linking out from the post.
I understood that. Yeah.
Yes, good. But everybody else wanted to let them know. I see it all the time. I'm like, you can't do. So that's when you can have a link tree in your bio if you have more than one link. I have several links. I have, they join a free Facebook group, or there's a webinar, there's a class, there's other things that people can go to see. So you want to mix up your call to actions.
Mm-hmm.
You also don't want to always be selling.
Right.
So I talked about those different types of posts, right? It was educate, entertain, inspire, connect. And then the fifth is the selling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the 80-20 rule. It's 80%
Sure.
of the content needs to be this other type of content with some little bit of selling thrown in there. And selling includes come to my webinar, those are, you're asking for someone to convert to something. You want to make sure that you're doing that sporadically throughout your feed.
I think that's universally true. You really, the 80-20 rule, and the fact that you've got 5 different styles here, and you can add the call to action to actually go to something that they'd register for, makes sense, because people they're not there. It's a social platform. And I think if we keep that in the back of our mind, always, it's about being social. It's about growing engagement. It's about making deeper connections with people. It's about being authentic and helping people see who you really are. As you say, it's an awareness tool. It's not a selling tool, but you can use it to some extent. Now, when you talk about the link tree, I've heard about link trees. Actually, I think I even created something like that for my daughter when I was working on her website. And we didn't use Linktree, but we just created a page that we sent them to that had the different links in it. So I think that that's one thing people also need to be aware of, that if they want to use more than one link, they're either going to have to change their profile with the link on it all the time, which they could do, but then people who see something later, it might not be relevant. So that kind of a linking format where they can have more than one thing to find works quite well for the calls to action. Would you agree?
Correct. Yeah, and there may be times where you only want to have one link there. If you are running a promotional cycle that you want to really focus on, sometimes, I know I said the 80-20 rule about content, but sometimes when there's leading towards a big program, I work with a lot of clients that create online courses. They may be doing a webinar, which is, a sneak peek into that course. Right. So in that case, there may be, leading up to it 24 hours out, delete hours out, that you're going to kind of ramp up that selling. So that does happen. And in that case, I might only have one link because I don't want people to remember, we have goldfish.
Right. Get confused.
You may want to have
focused.
one link. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when we work with influencers, they may only have one link. But the other thing is that just by the very fact that someone goes to your profile is also a data point for going back to the algorithm. So it looks at how many people go to your profile. I see. So you may want to have what's nice too is to have like a free gift in the profile. If you want to have like a free ebook or a free webinar or a free Facebook group, that you can then sprinkle that in as a call to action that will entice people to go to your profile. Okay. Well, that's a good idea. Yes. All right. So we've got the last topic. There's so much we could talk about, of course. I mean, I could be all day. Let's help people learn how to do this easily. You want them to post consistently, at least 5 days a week. How do we do it the easiest way possible, consistently? Yes. So, and I'm going to say, when I say this, I'm going to say it's easier said than done, because I also don't always follow my own rules. But here's how you do it the easiest. All right. So I recommend a few tools. Of course, Canva. A lot of people are using Canva to design their posts. It's a great tool. It also allows you to schedule posts through Canva. Yeah, Canva's great. Canva, Meta has the best way to make posting scheduled and consistent is to allocate a certain day of the week that you're going to sit down. You're going to come up with your topics.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to write your posts for the whole week.
Sure.
And sometimes what I'll do is I'll do, 4 videos. So now I know I have videos for 2 weeks. And then I'll sit down and design all the video or all the posts in Canva.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have all the content scheduled again on Monday at 10 o'clock. That's my time where I put it on my calendar. I'm going to do all my posts. It's also great because it gives you that opportunity to really think about what the theme might be and weave it throughout each. Whereas if I just wake up in the morning, I'm like, what am I going to post about today? It doesn't really have it doesn't create as much of a theme and a flow as when you build that time for yourself to do them all at one time.
Understood. Yeah.
And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you miss a day or two, no one's going to be worried about it. Right. You can miss a few days if you don't feel like posting or you don't come up with ideas. The other thing I will say too, one more kind of quick tip is that I always get inspiration from other people. So I may have a few accounts that I follow that are similar to me as a business, and I use that as inspiration for other topics that I can post about. So that's another great way that you can build that into your schedule when you're batching your posts.
Okay.
Then you want to schedule them over that week. And again, Canva allows you to schedule. Within Meta, it has a scheduling tool as well.
Meta, that's how it sounds. META.
That is Facebook's new name.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yes. So Meta is kind of the overarching company that's handling, the 2 different platforms. And then there's Hootsuite. I know we've all heard of Hootsuite. And then I really like, unfortunately it's expensive, but I really like Sprout Social. But a lot of times Sprout Social is a little bit more software than people need. It's a great tool if you have to have someone approve your post. So if you're creating posts and there's a workflow that there's an approver, it's a great tool for that. But again, the batching, the putting them all together. Now, the one thing I will say too, to back up, unfortunately, Reels still have to be done from your phone. You cannot you cannot use a scheduler to post Reels. So usually I'll save everything in my phone, and you can save it as a draft in your Instagram, but then you go ahead and you need to post it on that day.
Okay, so there's lots of opportunities and lots of tools out there. And so you just have to decide what you think is easiest for you. And I know Sprout Social is something that you have to pay for, right? It's a membership. Yeah.
Canva, you'll have to pay for if you want the scheduling. I think Hootsuite and Meta have Meta's free, and Hootsuite might have a free version that's light that you can schedule posts.
Okay. Okay. So if you were a beginner and you were trying to save money until you could attract more clients, what would be your favorite tool?
I would say, well, Canva has a free version, but the price of Canva I think is like $16 a month, even if you get the Pro. So it's not very much money. I don't want to say this out loud if Meta finds out that I'm saying this about them, but their scheduling tool, I've been trying to use it, is subpar.
Okay, well,
but
they need to step it up then.
Well, it might be because I'm used to the Sprout. As an agency, because I have multiple clients, I've got it's like I've got the Rolls Royce and that's the Hyundai.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
It's fine. It's going to get you there. You're going to get from point A to B.
Okay. Well, these are just great tips. And I know that for someone who's starting out, you've really given them the essence of how to show up, how to become, how to have people become more aware of you, who you are, what you stand for, the changes and support that you can provide to other people for your business. And I think that's just super important. You've given them time frames as to when to post what, how often, the style of posting, educate, entertain, connect, inspire, and once in a while sell.
Yes.
You've told everyone about the algorithms and how they can use different types of posting in order to get noticed on the algorithm. And you've even said, so I'm sort of summarizing some of the notes that I've taken, but you even said that now for 2023, that they're going back from as much reels as they did into static posts.
Yes.
Well, you guys, static posts are so easy to do in Canva,
Easy.
and so just put them out there. So,
and can I
that's
leave
some fun.
everyone with one more really important tip?
Absolutely.
Don't be perfect. If you stumble on your words, if your makeup's not done right, your hair is flashing over, there's a typo, it doesn't matter. Mistakes make you more human. Nobody cares. It's here and it's gone, so allow yourself to step into it and just go for it.
Okay, so I would add to that, have some fun with it.
Yes,
be a little more
absolutely.
playful in the
Yes.
process. Make it
Yes.
fun, and it won't feel tedious. It won't feel like I've got to do this. It will be, oh, I'm looking forward to figuring out what I'm going to do this week. And as you also said, schedule a time you can just sit down and create these posts all at once for the week, decide on your theme or whatever it might be, and get it done. And as you say, I always say to my clients, version 1 is always better than version none. And that means get out there and just get it. Get her done.
I love that. Can I use that?
Oh, absolutely. It's not my phrase, but I've
Okay,
used it for years. And it's just so important, because otherwise people they'll hold back. They'll never get out there and be their natural self. And you can't let that hold you back, especially with the technology we have available today. And the fact that you can just pick your phone up and do a short reel or 10, 15 seconds, all you really have to think about for a few seconds is, what am I going to say for 10 or 15 seconds that could be valuable? And that might take a little planning, but it's not that you have to create a whole seminar for people to get to know you. So these are great tips, Joanne. I really appreciate you taking the time today. Now we have a gift. Let me bring that up for everyone to see, and you can tell them a little bit about it. But Joanne has something that I think is going to help you understand the Instagram algorithm a little better. So you can go to shinetips.com/Joanne Gift, shinetips.com/Joanne Gift. Go ahead, Joanne, and tell them all about what you want them to take advantage of.
Yeah, so this is a on-demand webinar that goes into more, a little bit slower, what we went through about the algorithm, but a little bit more detail about it, and also very concrete steps for what you need to do for your Instagram in 2023 to achieve that success. And within that webinar, there are also some free gifts available to you. Once you've seen that webinar, there's a free Facebook group that you'll have access to, where I have weekly sessions talking about all types of marketing. And within it is also an audit. So you can do an audit of your Instagram, just so you know where you're at, so that you can start to plan how you're going to grow moving forward.
Oh, that's really exciting. So you're getting gifts within the gift.
Yeah, there's gifts within the gift. It just keeps on giving. And that's not all.
Well, Joanne, I want to thank you so much for being here today and really sharing your experience, because it's a lot to really understand all of these different social platforms and use them effectively. And what we don't want you is to get burned out on any social platform. We want you to use it effectively, get the word out about who you are, build awareness, and then get on with your life and enjoying your family or what you like to do, and of course, making a difference in the world with your passion. So you've just done a great job of helping us understand all that. Do you have any final thoughts, words of wisdom you might like to share before we go?
Well, I guess I said it before with the don't be perfect, just be you. Don't worry about it. It's so fun. Instagram is fun. I love it.
And how do they find you on Instagram so they can follow you there?
Yes, please do. You'll see my kooky. I do post a lot of kooky things on there, so I'd love for you to join. It's growthledge_marketing.
growthledge_marketing. That's Joanne's handle, so to speak, on Instagram. Go check it out. Follow her, and you'll learn a lot more as you just follow someone's example. That gives you great ideas yourself. So,
and if you follow me, you can DM me and I'll follow you back and help you, give you tips on your Instagram. So,
that's perfect.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you again so much. We're going to go into the outro here, and I want to thank all of you for being here today. Again, wasn't this time spent worth it? If you feel someone else you know would benefit by this, go ahead, help spread the word and let them know about this great interview with Joanne. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you all on the next Inspirational Businesswoman show. Bye-bye now. Thanks so much for watching today. Do you know someone who would be a great guest for our show? Or would you like to be a guest on the Inspirational Businesswoman show? Let's shine the spotlight on your expertise. We'll share your story while offering tips, strategies, and advice to our viewers. Expert interviews are a great way to build your reputation as the go-to expert. Go to shinetips.com/IBWS to apply today. Women are waiting for your message, and I can't wait to interview you.